What a weekend. What a long weekend. I am tired. So much has happened up until recently of the recording of this podcast. It is I, your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, and 44-year-old professional wrestler, Zack Primetime Reeb. And I am joined alongside my podcast partner, Big Paul, and the Wrecking Ball, 7-foot Big Paul. And Paul, I couldn't think of a better man to be talking to right now.
Oh, good. Well, I take that as a huge compliment, man. That I'm the guy, man, that you could chat about or chat to about life, man. I think it's so important and special when you have those people. Although we've met through the wrestling business, that we can have those conversations just about life, and that was one of the things that I enjoyed best about traveling with Adam. Is so many times the conversations had nothing to do with wrestling and had everything to do with life, whether it was talking about kids or marriage or whatever, man, what was going on at work. Just that's when you know that you have a true friend, that it's not just based off of one aspect of your life. It's all inclusive. So I definitely take it as a huge compliment that is the way that you feel, that you would like to be talking to this person right now. So yeah,
talking to you before,
right?
And here we are, man. I said, man, I really want to do this. You talk about friendship, man. And one thing, what last night in Boomtown reminded me of was, and I said it to people at class today, amazing class today, and it was, I said, when you wrestle Big Paul, he's 7 feet tall. He's 300 pounds. He has mittens. He has baseball gloves for hands. I said, what other profession can this guy's family taunt you as you're limping on your way home, cussing you out, mad at you? And this guy can stop your heart in the ring with you can kick the living dog shit out of each other. And then when the show's over, you share a meal and then you do a podcast together. No other business, right?
Exactly. Well,
you name one.
What's that? You name one. Yeah, you can't name it. It was you just talking about friends and relationships, and I was just reflecting on last night, just through all types of different aspects. My wife was telling me how she loves wrestling shows simply because all of the kids are together. We've got our 2 oldest girls that live on their own, and they come to the show, and my wife and one of my daughters, they've got their inside one-liners and stuff like that, right? My daughter's screaming at you, "Give me my dad back," because you have stolen me away to do a podcast, and just all the little things like that. But the opportunity to go share a meal afterwards, after working hard on a show, and especially a successful show like that. So I definitely appreciate that. And then one of the things that one of my daughters said was, I haven't seen Sparky Ballard in forever, right?
Yeah.
And then I haven't seen Big Ugly in forever, and then I was listening to Ugly this morning on one of his blogs talking about he doesn't know when the last time he worked up here was. And I was like, fuck, dude, it's been a long time, because him and my daughters, and it's just one of those things. It's, again, a tribute to the friendship where you're in the same room, and it's just like old times, and you pick right back up where you left off. And I feel like I had a half hour, 45-minute conversation with him, just sitting as he was fucking lacing his boots up, just about catching up, really. And it's a reminder for me how much I enjoy those people in my life and in the locker room, and it's a good reflection of you've said it a dozen times already about just the locker room that we've put together, and the quality people and the no drama type of stuff, right? And talking to Sparky. As soon as he gets there, he's like asking questions, right? He wants to know what's going on. Why is the ring where it's at? What's up with this venue? Just all the questions, because he's in promoter mindset, right? He wants to know why everything's set up the way it is, and in an just so he can have a chance to try to help out and make things better, right? We had a storyline going on, and he wanted to be involved to try to make that better, and he coordinated a whole bunch of stuff that nobody actually knew that he was coordinating. I had a conversation with somebody else that was like, "Oh, the security guards didn't even know that was happening," and I'm like, "Sure they did, because I was standing there when Sparky told them what was happening." So I think it's this seamless conversations and people just going out there and just doing whatever it takes to help out and make the show more successful. And it's the same thing. Like, I had a conversation with Illumide, and he was asking questions about what can we do to make this the best possible scenario for this night. And I don't know, man, it's great for me to be surrounded by people that I feel like know more than me about pro wrestling, so I can just absorb all these different ideas. And I often talk about how you're booking the show, right? You essentially do this by yourself for your wrestling promotion, right? You're just writing down ideas all the time, and I feel a bit overwhelmed sometimes, right? I think, oh, I'm doing a good job, and then I'll talk to someone else, and they'll give me another perspective on what they think, and I was like, oh shit, that's a way better idea than my idea. So I think it's for me, it's just it's very helpful, and I'm so grateful that I have this group of people that are willing to jump in and just go, hey, what can I do to help? Tell me your idea. Let's try to take your idea and ramp it up, and let's make it the best possible idea that we can get. So definitely humbled by the relationships that this business has brought to me. Just about talking about life and talking about pro wrestling and the bond that we all share together, man. So I'll stop rambling, but on a fucking high after that show and all the great things that were happening.
Back-to-back weekends of highs. It's back-to-back weekends of highs. One thing was what I thought was really cool was how we set up the start of the show. Once again, it was supposed to be a match, but then it ended up being the promo first and then the match, which I felt all the matches were great. I felt the way everything went was good. The crowd was hot. It was a fun night. It was a great locker room. One thing that really got me was, so we go to the main event, right? And I know I made the right decision because it all clicked on me, but we're out here and this place is going crazy because I want myself, Sergio, and Bad News to put our hands in the middle, and I want to do a 1, 2, 3, go team. But the 200-300 fans didn't want me to have that opportunity. And we could have sat there and milked that. We milked it for about 5 minutes, and it kept getting louder and louder. And then I saw you and Illumide leave the ring to come after us in the crowd. And you went to Bad News, which he was right there. So that was, he's not very fast. And then I saw a gold streak flying because Illumide just happens to actually be a track athlete, a collegiate track athlete. And he was running towards me and Sergio. And the one thing I knew when you're running from the cops too, right? Like, I don't have to be fast. I just have to be faster than that guy next to me. So I knew I was faster than Sergio. So Illumide caught him in record time. And as I'm in the back of the building, I see Jeffrey Excellence coming late, and he's coming this way. So I'm like, I look and I see lit up out of the dark an empty wrestling ring. And I see 2 sets of people brawling, and I go, I need to get in that ring because someone needs to be in there. So I sprint and I slide in the ring, and Excellence slides in. And I already know in my head when I slide in with the heat I got, I'm going to beg off on my knees, begging off. And I get caught in this situation where I planned not to do too much. but I put myself in the heat situation with the red hot baby faces. And at this point now, Excellence is chopping me and bumping me around and 10 punching me. And then he makes this noise. And I see your legs move and start to get in the ring. And I go, oh, fuck. Paul's coming in early and I'm in this corner over here. And you just destroy me with an overhand chop. So I start selling, thinking maybe if I sell, that the abuse is over. But now I end up in the baby face's corner and they're both holding my arms like this. And I see you lick your hand and I go, well, grin and bear it, pal, because you just got to take another one, which I did. And then Illumide comes in and backdrops me almost to the roof of the 12-foot roof. Okay, he didn't even bend over when he gave. I mean, he just, and I'm thinking in my head, and I remember Sergio telling me at the end of the night, he goes, man, you took all the heat, man. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And what that reminded me of is we call it the shine, right? We call it the baby outdoing the heel, out wrestling the heel is what everybody thinks it is. But in reality, the heel came in and basically took all the baby face heat at the start of the match before I cut Illumide off, which Illumide wasn't the cutoff guy, which worked perfectly to put a little bit of heat on him to get Jeffrey back in the ring to then cut Jeffrey off to establish the heat. And to listen to the audience, I thought what we did was such a beautiful thing, man, because none of that stuff that we did, we talked about. That was just like, there's an open ring. I'm the free guy. It looks like by proxy, I'm going in to take the ass whooping from the baby faces at the start, which ended being really cool because I ended up up top. And I think one of my favorite lines of the night at the start, because there was so much heat in that building, and I don't just mean hot as in was hot. I remember I heard something on the way up and I kept telling you I was going to say it. And I remember Jeffrey Excellence saying, hey, would you, Zach Reeb and his two butt buddies? And I said, oh, he couldn't have said a more perfect word. And when I got in the ring, I said, before we get down to business, I said, I just want to let all the ladies know here tonight in the crowd, after the show's over, Bad News Blakesley, Sergio Santana, and myself are more than willing to take all of you to fifth base. And they looked at me and I said, and if you don't know what fifth base is, then you're not ready for it, which I was talking about anal. That's fifth base. It's like in that movie Beer Fest when he's like, you want a BJ, an HJ, or a ZJ? And he goes, what's a ZJ? And he goes, well, if you don't know what a ZJ is, you probably can't afford it, right? So just good all the way through, man. It was like seeing my student Jalen Love make his debut against Jeff Skyroot, the dynamic. And I just asked you beforehand, hey, man, do you think we can put this on as a pre-show? And then it ended up not being a pre-show. It ended up being the first match. And they went out there and did a very good job. Both of them did with what they did. And watching Maple with Beatrice Domino, and I've known Beatrice for a long time, and walking out after their match and listening to Beatrice basically kind of like schooling up Maple, right? And Maple just sat there for an hour and listened to it. And as a coach, I didn't say a fucking word to any of them because that's not my business right now. I'm going to talk to them both later. But I remember at the end of the night hanging out with Maple and her mom and Bad News, and it was Maple's birthday weekend. I remember sitting there and she was like, yeah, I got to work on my selling and the shine of the match. But when I'm building myself back up and and I look over at her mom and I go, do you hear this? This girl sounds like a professional wrestler now. She's talking like a professional wrestler. That tag team match that I remember, you were like Gator Boys versus RC and Dawn, or the dudes. And I said, no, it's got to be, we got to do Unwanted in them. And you're like, well, two heels. And I said, no, just have them be babies. And they'd never done babyface. But that was just every bit of what real tag team wrestling was supposed to be. Like, they did this suplex spot that Nash landed, and they went back to it right away, and Christian caught him, and then they both ended up single suplexing each other to a major pop that was built up from that. Annabelle wasn't even wrestling and got the biggest pop of the night being on the apron and get knocked off the apron for the finish of the match. And it was something I looked at and I said, when Annabelle figures out how to work in the ring like she works her character as the manager or the valet, there's not going to be anybody better than that girl. And that's just true. She's so good at the facials and the expressions and being in the right place at the right time. And that's where the ring translation is different, because you get in there and you're in a deer in the headlights and you want to do all these moves and you move too fast and slap your legs and stuff. So, from last weekend at Extreme, Last Man Standing, to this weekend, what just a wealth of knowledge we went through, right?
Absolutely. Well, and you touched briefly on two young guys, to the business getting an opportunity, right? And it's not like an accident. This didn't just, hey, it just happened to work out. These are two guys that last week at your show were like, I'm going to be in Reno, right? I was like, well, I don't have anything for you. Well, that's cool. I'm still coming. I'll help with whatever you guys need, right? We've talked about this since the first episode, right? So we're on 130 now. So we've talked about this for 65 straight weeks about just being there, right? Showing up, showing your face. And I don't know how many times we would have our students just travel with us, right? Because inevitably what's going to happen is you're going to go to a show, you're going to help out. You're going to go to another show, you're going to help out. People are going to know this person is associated with these people, and I trust these people. So if they're associated with these people, they're good people, right? And then when something like last night happens, where, we were going to have a short card anyway, we were going to have only 6 matches. We would have easily been able to fill the 2 hours, but two guys that are eager, that want to get in the ring with no expectations, are just at the show because they want to watch, learn, help, whatever, and they end up getting an opportunity. And like you said, it's like, well, you can put them on before the show starts, but what if we wait for all the fans to get in the building, right? So it's not just I don't want to say the pre-show match is a throwaway match. I definitely know, like, you got fans as they're walking in the door, or that particular instance, we're in a casino, so people are walking by and poking their head in and going, oh, what's going on in here? And if you've got some action going on there, they might be willing to go, hey, I'm gonna buy a ticket and come in and check it out. These guys get to actually be on the show, and all the fans are already there. And like you said, we ended up having a promo segment first. So it worked out well for them, right? So they got to experience all the fans in the building. I think it was 7:15 before they got to go out there. So so it was a good experience for those guys, and it is nothing to do with luck or any being right place, right time, nothing like that. This is 100% planned. Like, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to be helpful and I'm going to do what I can. And I'm going to go there as a student trying to learn about that. And then they get the ultimate learning experience to go work in front of a live crowd and then come back through and get some critiques. But just like you said about Beatrice and Maple, they were putting their match together before, and RC was standing there listening, and he turns to me and he goes, I don't know if I like what they're doing for the finish. And I said, well, let's just let them do it, right? Because like I've told my daughters 100 times, I can tell you what mistakes you don't want to make because I've already made them, or I can let you make those mistakes and you can learn from those mistakes yourself, right? So if these guys were going to go out there and they were going to make some mistakes, that's fine, right? You're going to learn on the fly. You're going to get that experience. And then when you come back through the curtain, that's when people are going to say, hey, this is what I thought was good. This is what I thought needed work. and here's the things that let's work on these things moving forward in training and things like that. So a good experience from that aspect as well, allowing them to put the whole match together and go, try it out, man. Let's go out and let's have a singles match and let's do our thing, how we think it should be, and then we'll come back and we'll take the constructive criticism of what the guys that know a little bit more about it say to us to try to help us get better.
Well, that sucks because they specifically came outside and asked me to put that stuff together for them. So, sorry, RC, you didn't like to finish. I was standing out there. I actually pulled Sparky over with me to work with them about that. But I thought it was good, man. Like there's aspects. Like Maple told me last night, she said, "Hey, I don't want you to just coach me anymore. I want you, I'm giving you the green light to just ride my ass into the dirt and tell me everything that's wrong." She said, "I want to be great at this." It's the guys in the tag match came up to me and said, "What'd you think?" And I go, "Well, it was good. I got nothing for you. I can probably scoop up some really fine detail to give to you guys, but I got nothing for you because you guys went out there and did what you're supposed to do. You told a baby heel. I mean, you just did it." And when you see these things happening, man, and they're your guys too, when you see your guys and you see them shine and you see them growing and you see this team getting better, and that's the confidence thing. Because here's the thing. I can show you every scenario. I can show you how it's supposed to be done. I can do all this, and I can run and I can do this at training and get you prepared as prepared as I can. But the one thing I can't do is I can't simulate the crowd noise. Even if we fake the crowd noise and do it ourselves with the students, we cannot simulate the live audience in whatever town you're in. And that was a big thing for me in going to Nevada, to all these places with the talent. When you asked me about bringing the guys up, was nobody knows them. Go to the comedy show. You sell 50 tickets to your friends. 50 people are going to laugh. You're going to be funny, right? To everyone else, they're, oh, ha, 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 ha. But if you go to the comedy show where nobody knows you, we find out if you're really funny or not. So, it's like I told Christian, man, there was a Christian Sky. I put him in charge for like the last year of a lot of stuff that these guys have done in the tag division. And there's been a lot of mishaps and failures. But a failure don't mean you're a failure. The failure just means you get better. It means when I talk to you, I say, "Hey, man, come on. I expect a little more out of you. You should have done this. You should have done that. Oh, you're right. You're right." And what you're doing is you're giving this person this personal experience so that they can learn, not so that you can tell them, so that they can learn and they can do it themselves and they can teach other people themselves. Because this school isn't about me claiming that these are my students now. I think that's so cliche when people have been around a long time and they go, "These are my students." No, that's my school. They still deal with me. I'm there when they've been around long enough, they can work with me. But those aren't my students. Those are Arsonist's students. Those are Christian students. Those are Jesse's students. Those are Manny's students. Those are the guys that for the last 4 to 7 years in this building process to get us where we're at, that I trust to train these wrestlers for 6 to 8 months to get them ready so that I can get in the ring and not get injured moving around with them, man. So it's just to watch something grow, to watch your company grow, man. Because I remember when I first came down there, it was 30, 40 fans, and you were just running at one venue. And that was it. It was kind of bleak. It was just a wrestling show. And here we are within a year's time, and now you're in Boomtown. You still got the same venue, which I can't even remember the last time we fucking wrestled there. There's Urington, Nevada. There's Winnemucca. There's Carson City. You're running 5 or 6 cities now, 5 or 6 towns. And the draw is anywhere on a bad night, 150, to a good night, 350, 400 fans. So it's one of those things, and the storytelling is great, and the locker room has changed, and the talent has changed, and we actually have, and I say we because I do feel a big part of this. We have taken this company and giving it's where it needs to be, and it's growing. And to be able to do that, to be able to watch your company thrive, to be able to watch my company thrive, to be able to help Ugly and work with Ollie on the stuff that they're doing, to be able to do this stuff and in reality change professional wrestling back to what professional wrestling is supposed to be. Are we ever going to be back in that time frame and that year? No, but we can use the new music and the new technology and everything else, but it's not going to change that we're out there to develop characters and tell intriguing stories.
It's true, man. And obviously it's exciting to see, and it feels like it is just it's been snowballing, right? From the, I mean, I can definitely remember the counting the fans on just two hands, and just trying to figure it out, and just all the little tidbits you pick up from different people. You're telling me about the way that you promote, and you're getting a little bit of this stuff from everybody, right? This is how you use social media. I have definitely ramped things up from a promotion standpoint and promoting shows, and trying to get sponsors as a result of other people pushing me in that direction, right? So it's just it is a great ride to be on for me to to be receiving advice. Like, I've always tried to be that person that's very much a sponge and looking to absorb information, right? I don't want to be that person, and I've never thought that I was the person that knows everything about everything. So, and I think, like, I had a work situation that was very similar. It's like, hey, I just need you to tell me what you want me to do. Don't just say nothing, right? Because then there's no communication. I have no idea what you want. You don't know what I want. And mostly you don't know that there's an issue if you don't bring it up and say, hey, I think this is where you're failing, right? Hey, you're not doing a really good job here, and I think this is how you could do a better job if you do some of these things, implement these, walking in and putting posters on a counter. Hey, try to get a sponsorship. Oh, you're not good with a sponsorship. Is it cool if I hang a poster here in your window? Right. Taking the small victories, and then just trying to build on those small victories until you get to that point where now, the 30 or 40 fans has now turned into multiple hundreds. So it's, I don't know, it's a good feeling to have. And, but and I don't know, man, I enjoy the camaraderie and all the things that are happening in the locker room, from relationship building to, helping people get better to watching people. Like, I guess, like, when I first started, I remember, Luster telling me at some point things it's going to click, right? You're going to be like, oh shit, that's what such and such was talking about. Or now I understand, or now I'm starting to listen to the crowd and understand, like, what they're looking to get out of this performance and when they want to change gears and things like that. So, all these learning experiences are just amazing. And, I think about, at my age, right, how it has taken so long for some of these things to happen. And, it's for me, it's almost embarrassing that, 15 years ago, we started this wrestling promotion and it was none of the stuff that we're doing now, that it's come so far. But it's the same thing about making mistakes. Like, if you don't make those mistakes on your own, then you don't really learn from those mistakes. Right. And, if you go into it hoping to break even, and your goal isn't always trying to make money, then you're probably never going to make money running a professional wrestling promotion or things like that.
Passion, brother. It's the evolution of something. You know, some people say the talent is worse or it hasn't gotten better, which it clearly has. The show has gotten better. And you look around and you say, how are other shows doing? You know, because a lot of people are having a problem promoting and drawing. We heard Ugly talking the other day about how promoting was has been a something that he really needs to work on, the biggest aspect of his game, which to admit that is something that a lot of people wouldn't admit. You know, everyone wants to say no, we're doing fine. I heard a promoter tell me I don't really worry about how many fans I get because we make our money off of the streaming app or the TV or something like that. And you know, that's great if you do. I don't know too many people who do that, but at the other end of the spectrum, it's like I've been to those shows and they're selling concession stand and food. So if you're selling food, to say that you don't worry about how much attendance you have, to say that you don't worry if you can fit 100 people in a building that you run at, and that's the max capacity, and you don't care how many you can put in there. Well, I care. I care if I'm selling tickets at $20 a pop and I get 100 people opposed to 20 people. That's a very big difference in finance. And 100 people paying $20 and buying merchandise and food that I'm selling is a very big financial difference than 20 people buying $20 tickets, merchandise, and food. So when people say, well, I don't worry about that because we're going to fill the building up anyways. If you're not worried about going out there in new towns or the surrounding towns, 30 minutes to an hour in the circumference of where your home base is or your hometown, if you're not worried about that, then you will never grow. You know, we just did the seminar at the Ugly Dojo. Me and Ollie did, and you know, there was a situation. You know, a lot of guys didn't know how to throw the right way to throw a kick, or a forearm, or a reverse knife edge chop, or work the crowd. And there's a lot of guys from a lot of different schools that are in there, and it baffles me. And this is no knock on anybody as a human being, but these are basic things that we should be showing our students. We should be showing them the pace that the heel works at during the heat and how the baby sells. And when the baby turns the heel around and picks up some steam on him and then gets cut back off, we should be showing them these things. Everybody's forearms, kicks, knees to the gut, hips to the gut, shoulders in the corners, forearms, reverse knife edge chops, European uppercuts. I'm not so much worried about somebody's punch. And I'll tell you why I'm not worried about somebody's punch. Because a punch is fucking illegal. So I don't want to see a bigger wrestler fucking hit fucking 4 punches on somebody and he's doesn't knock him down or injure him. Because if I see that, then I go, could you imagine someone your size or Bad News or Shaq's size or something, or Jalen, you know, punching somebody just back across the ring with a closed fist without being warned by the ref, and then they whip the motherfucker off the ropes? It's like, I would think somebody, you hit me with 2 chops and they were spaced out with a lot of selling in between them. So I would imagine if you punched me in my face, I probably wouldn't stay on my feet and get whipped off the rope for a big boot, right? And we did make that mistake in a sense, because it was block, punch off the rope, big boot a couple times. But also the difference in those are to the top of the head and not to the face. But it's still a closed fist, and it should still require, you know, Sparky was asking a lot of good questions. about checking the wrestlers. He's like, I don't feel we should check the wrestlers, you know? And I said, well, I think you should. I think you should especially check the wrestlers when it's a championship match with a Japanese introduction. I think you should explain the rules, pull them together, and check the wrestlers, because you are trying to give a big championship fight presentational feel. I also feel like the reason we don't check the wrestlers is because the referees don't have authority, and we've got into this. And I think a lot of the reason we talk about the referees so much is because I'm so tired of hearing people say that the referees are just as the match as the wrestlers, when that clearly is not the case. It's not the case with the promoters when they're promoting the show and throwing down the details and the specifics of what's going on. It's not that same thing with the referees. You know, seeing Sparky and Chico work on the same show so many times is a breath of fresh air, because they're just both such good referees, and they're so detail oriented. And it's like, man, the referee has to be just as big a part. The ring announcer has to be just as big a part. I just saw another show from the weekend, where the the owner, the promoter, was standing on the thing filming, and there wasn't a lot of people in the crowd. And that comes down to the promotion of everything, man. And even if you go out and promote it, if you don't have something that the audience can sink their teeth into, and you can't leave them with something to say, hey, come back next month, right? Come back next week, come back next month. If you cannot hook the audience, if you cannot, you said it earlier on the phone. You said, I want to give them a basic, what'd you say it was? I was dropping Reno off. It started with a C. Cliff notes.
Oh yeah. You want to give them the cliff notes. I want to give them a short idea of kind of what the main idea of what we're trying to accomplish. And I think that came from Ugly kind of going, hey, you guys did a lot of talking at the beginning of the show, but there was reason behind it, as you guys kind of loop the people in that aren't regulars, right? And I was just redoing my email list today and realizing how many new people bought tickets to the show last night that I had never seen before. So, it's just one of those things. And I think sometimes we don't take that into consideration, that, someone might have just picked up a flyer somewhere and go, oh shit, I didn't know there was wrestling in this town. I think I'm going to go check the show out. But they have no idea what's going on with the storyline. So if you can give them something that's going to weave throughout the show, then that's going to be to their benefit.
Be organized. Pay attention. It says it right here. Let's see if we can get that close. PCW mailing list. I just physically started writing down all the the name and their actual email from when they purchased a ticket, to put together a mailing list. So every time we run a show, I put all these people in one big email and let them know about the events that we have coming up in their town and the surrounding towns. That way, if they don't want to be on the fucking mailing list, they'll remove themselves or send me a message and say, hey, take me off of this mailing list. I don't want to get these messages. Then I can mark them off. Or they can say, hey, thank you for having me on this. And it's just like followers, subscribers, and friends. We're building our base. We're building our fan base on here. What is wrong? What is happening in the world? People that are organized. People that organize their receipts and their taxes. That's why women are so important in the house, right? Like a good wife. And it could be the husband too, but a good wife is so important because she has the calendar over there. And when the date, I'm pretty sure when something comes up for you, I'm pretty sure you don't just go, oh, no, can't do it. I'm pretty sure you go, I got to talk to the wife. She's going to tell me what days I have free and what's going on. I'm going to say, hey, I'd like to go do this weekend. and she's going to say, can't, we're in San Diego for a basketball tournament.
Right.
She's going to, even if you know, she's going to let you know. Right.
Right.
And that's that support, man. You got that amazing support. That was the funniest thing to me last night was you came in to the meal we were having and you said, oh man, my wife and kids said they don't want you to do that podcast with Zack in the morning because they don't want to hear his annoying voice anymore. And as I was hobbling out of the venue, I wasn't hobbling at first, but then they said, I saw them and I started hobble selling. And they started booing me, all of them, all 5 of your daughters and your wife. And they said, go, have a good drive, have a good trip home hobbling, you loser. They all called me a loser, every one of them. And at the show, every one of them, and I'm not going to throw your youngest daughter in there, but I got a lot of these double birdies from your daughters. And it's kind of cool, man. It's kind of cool that they know me and you are friends, not just co-workers, not just wrestlers, but we're friends and we do this podcast. And I've talked to your daughters before and your family, and it's really kind of cool that it's a pretty cool craft that you can go out there when you're pretty good at your craft, when you can piss everybody off, but nobody really wants to attack you or kill you. You get all the heat and everybody has fun at the show, but then they come up to you afterwards and they go, you know what? You did great tonight, you piece of shit. And you're like, yeah, that's
exactly
better than
right.
being stabbed. You know what I mean? Like, that's the one thing I do like about the modern era is you can still be a heel, but you don't have to get chased to your car, pulling your bag or carrying your bag with some Mexicans chasing you with a couple switchblades. You know what I mean?
That's it, man. I gotta go put dinner in the oven real quick. Keep talking, buddy.
Keep talking. Dinner's in the oven, and that's what we get at. We talk about this professional wrestling. It becomes more, right? It becomes more. I was just talking about Paul's family giving me shit and then giving him shit. And then we didn't do the podcast this morning. We did not do the podcast this morning because of other reasons, but it's fun to go places. And when everybody has a great time and we all just figure everything out. And like I said earlier, we can't simulate. You can't simulate what's going on as we turn on to, some people in the back are watching the Elimination Chamber. And there's just so many people complaining about how safe the WWE is, how we can predict the booking. And I remember back when I was younger too, we predicted the booking, right? Paul, I was talking about how it over to the Elimination Chamber and how people were talking about how safe the WWE is. I predicted all this booking from start to finish. And wrestling becomes kind of like that. Like I remember back in the day, even though we didn't complain as much about what we were watching, we had more fun watching it. We still knew. You've always predicted who's going to win matches. You've always predicted who's going to win the Rumble or the Survivor Series or whatever. And that's what makes this so good. What makes this so good is we are simulating a fake fight that we want the audience to suspend their belief and believe is real. And when we look at it like that, the coolest part is we always say it. I know Denzel Washington is not a badass cop in Training Day, but I do not want the actor while he's acting to break that character role. Why do I care about if somebody cheats on somebody in a season 5 of a Netflix series or somebody dies? Or because I'm invested in that character, because I have chosen, right? I've chosen to be a fan of professional wrestling. It's what I enjoy. And I've chose to come watch this. And I like the stories and I like the characters. I like the drama. Some say it's a male soap opera, but I like these things. And there's nothing wrong with somebody being happy with what you like. And a lot of people don't realize WWE is not even PG-13, I don't think. I think it's PG for the kids. So I don't think the kids, I don't see too many under 15-year-old kids on Facebook and Instagram going, gosh darn it, Danhausen just came out of the crate. Yes, we knew CM Punk wasn't going to win the belt. We knew Finn Balor wasn't going to beat CM Punk for the belt going into face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Yeah, no shit. So adults, especially ones in the business, yeah, good for you. Good for you. You understand what they're doing in the booking. Don't fucking spoil it for everybody. Don't talk shit. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And if you don't like it, go shit out a couple kids, get a couple ladies pregnant. When the kids grow up, introduce them to pro wrestling, and then maybe you can have some fun with your children watching a product that's based around children and selling merchandise. You fucking marks.
Oh, I don't know. It is very comical that that's the the perspective of certain people that they want to. I don't know. I always thought as a kid, it's like, why do you need to tell your kid? Like my dad used to do that to me. This is fake, right, Steve? Like, well, you don't need to tell your kid that because they're getting, they're involved in it, right? They're excited to watch what's going on. It's like, why do you have the desire to ruin it for someone else? Like, what? I don't understand that rationale. Like what is it? Why is it hurting you that Joe Blow down the road loves to watch pro wrestling and is into it, and wears his championship belt wristbands and his headband and all types of stuff, and brings his belt to the show and all this different stuff? It's like, let these people be fans, man. Just leave them alone. Like, it's like if you were to criticize everybody for watching something that maybe you didn't enjoy, if it was anime or if it was Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever, it's like everybody has their own thing that they enjoy to do. It's like, why do you need to rain on someone else's parade about something that they enjoy? I don't get the rationale behind that. And but I mean, like you said, it's this combat that we're trying to simulate, right? We're simulating this combat, and it's just like any movie that you watch, right? It's like there's not really cars that transform into giant robots, right? So it's just I don't understand that. Like, you can go to a movie and you can get totally enthralled in it, and you could, I gotta watch the second, the second version of this movie, or it's a trilogy, and I gotta watch all the different things, or I can't wait till this one comes out, or just all the different things like that. Where it's like, you like what you like, but why are you criticizing someone else for liking what they like?
Well, because you're unhappy with your own life. That's
right.
That's something we learn in recovery, man. Is like, I'm a completely different person today than I was 653 days ago. What I think is really cool about today is today I set a new record, because yesterday was 652 days. And that's how much time I had of sobriety last time before I got on the airplane to go to Texas. And I broke I drank again because I didn't have recovery or sobriety. So today is 653 days. And a little quick story about last night. When you were leaving, I remember the debate was I going to take my last $50 in cash and pump it in that Buffalo machine? I said, man, the bars are far, the buffaloes are moving quick. And I look back there, and she's been a really good friend of mine for a long time. Maple's mom, the Trace is what we call her. She's like, well, can't win if you don't spin, right? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I look over at Sergio and I say, hey, you got $5. I don't want to put 50 in here. I'm like, I'll give you half of what we make. And he goes, absolutely not. Well, then Maple looks at me and says, I'll be right back. And she comes back and she says, okay, Zachy Joe, get it. Win us big. And she hands me $100. So now I'm gambling with the house's money, right? And if I would have put my $50 in, we wouldn't have won, because that $100 got down to about $7 or $8. And then I hit. And then it just became this moment where I went from feeling bad and my chest hurting and, just depleted, to now everybody's up on their feet and we're moving from machine to machine. And total, I hit for $450, right? And then Maple went and cashed that, and we split that in half. And it was her birthday weekend. And then me, her, and her mom and Bad News are just sitting, at a bar. I'm not drinking. Bad News isn't drinking. Tracy isn't drinking. I'm buying Maple some birthday drinks, and we're talking wrestling and just having a great time. Like, we didn't leave there till literally like 1 a.m. And it was great. And Sergio was sitting over there just like, you saw the tendencies coming out of his body, the homo tendencies coming out of his body and his tired mannerisms. But it was just like the ride home, man. It was the ride home, long ride home, but it was a good one. And then you get home, and then now we're at Bad News, because I drove down there for the seminar, and then I got to drive all the way home, and I don't get home till 4 o'clock in the morning, and I sleep an hour and a half, and then I get up and do laundry and all this stuff. And then I go and do training all day. I'm at the building before 9 o'clock. I don't have to be there till 10:30. I'm already there before 9 o'clock. And we run a long training today, and it was good. A couple new people showed up. And then I come home and, get hit with life itself, and just persevere through that, because life is good. And I'm blessed to be your friend. I'm blessed to be in your locker room. I'm blessed to have my locker room, and we're all a team and a family. And people aren't going to like that. They're not going to like that. Nobody wants you to be happy. I heard one time, the only other man in this world that truly wants you to do greater than him is your father. And I hear you talk about your father all the time, and what a relationship I know you must have had with him. And it's like, he seems like the type of dad, like my dad. I know my dad worships the ground that me and my brother walk on. You know what I mean? Because I know what he sacrificed for us to have what we have today. I don't do this for a living right now if I don't stay with my dad. You know what I mean? If I'm out here on my own by myself, I don't do this, because then I don't have the opportunity and the finances to do it. But I was able to pull this off, so I can do that now because of him, because he cares that much for me and wants me to succeed so much in life. So it's just, a lot of people aren't going to like that we're happy. A lot of people aren't going to like that we like doing this podcast. And they go, well, you only get 60 to 100 views on a good day, and you only got 303 subscribers now. And it's like, who gives a shit? Who cares what you think? Because what are we at right now? 130?
That's it, man.
Yeah.
I remember when it was 10, and we were like, should we keep going? Right?
You.
Well, I guess it wasn't we, it was me. Should we keep going? And you're like, dude, you're like, I'm never quitting this.
No.
It's like, all right, I guess we're doing this then. We're gonna keep going.
Well, that's I trust you more than anything. Not only do I trust you for other reasons, but I know that what we're doing here is just as it's equally as important to us. I know that you're here for the long haul, and I'm here for the long haul. And the thing about it is, it's our show. That's cool when we have guests on here, but honestly, having a guest on here this is something that me and you do. The guest isn't here with us 2 times a week filming this thing, recording this thing. So it's a commitment we've made to each other, man. And it's a commitment, and we both stayed to it. And I respect the hell out of you for that, because I always know. And if we miss something, 5 minutes remain. But that's just the thing, man. You build these bonds, man, and you find out who really gives a shit about you as a human being. And it's really cool, because I'm in this stage in my life, and then I'll shut up and let you go to town on it. But I'll let you go to town on it, Paul. Take me to the fifth base, please. Bases are loaded. Hit me a 5-homer. But I know when you look at the end of this thing, we go, man, this guy right here, me and this guy, one thing I've learned is, as you get older in life and you have less time left and you're chasing the vision and you're chasing your goals, you want like-minded people around you. Because if their time is not doing what you like to do, and you guys don't have the same passions and the same goals to reach, you really are wasting your time hanging out with that person. And that's just the truth, man. It's like, what am I going to hang out with somebody that likes to drink every day for now, or go to the casino every day, or go, I don't have anything in common with that every day, because I have stuff to accomplish. So if somebody doesn't want to accomplish something, or the same team, same dream, they're not on it, we don't really need to hang out with each other, because we don't really have much in common. And that's forcing a hangout. It's forcing a friendship.
Yeah, so I'm over here giggling to myself, because you're talking about relationships, and I was just talking about Adam, and Adam's just texted me just right now, just thanking me again. His wife and daughter came to wrestling last night, and just, hey, thanks for the hospitality, and then asking about the Winnemucca show.
He was there?
No, his wife and his daughter were there last night, but he's talking about maybe coming to the tattoo convention in Winnemucca. So it's like, it doesn't, this is this is reality right now, and I sometimes I just can't believe that this is the life that I live, man, with the people that I'm surrounded by. And you talk about the relationship that I have with my dad, man, and I've got in my office things that it's like world's best dad, the little painting, and my dad's thing here that says, like, greatest blessing, call me Grampy, and the thing that I gave to him that says, the only thing better than having you as my dad is my children having you for their Grampy. So yeah, man, just you're just so thankful. You talk about the sacrifices that your dad made for you and your brother, and it's like, my dad, that's all he wanted. It was like, how can I help my son be successful? And hundreds of times that he told me, all I want for you is a better life than I had when I was a kid, and it's just like, and then you pass that on. Like, you take that mindset when you're raising your own children, and it's like, I just want you to be better off than me, and you try to make that happen. You try to set them up for success, and help them make the right decisions and allow them to make their own mistakes and things like that. So yeah, man, I can't agree more about just the life and being blessed with the people that we're surrounded with, and people just wanting you to succeed. And I'll finish this off with, I feel like my wife is my biggest fan right now. She could care less about pro wrestling, but she's at every show because I'm doing it, and it's important to me, and I enjoy it, and things like that. And my daughter is very much the same. They just they will risk missing out on other things. Like, I know that my daughter has a basketball tournament on the 21st when we're in Yarrington, but I can almost guarantee she's going to prioritize coming to wrestling over playing the sport that she loves more than anything, just so she can come watch wrestling. So that's it for me, man.
True blessing that your family supports you and are your biggest fans, because of that, they absolutely hate me. So thank you for that. I will not be coming over without being pegged by broomsticks and vacuum cleaner handles. But for Zack Primetime Reeb, it's been a long weekend. For the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora, I don't fucking see it stopping anytime soon. So you might as well do yourself a favor. Pull that butt plug out your ass and hit that subscribe button, because guess what? We ain't going anywhere, and we're going over.